Thank you very much, Ms. Sue. I will recognize myself for 5 minutes. Ms. Sue, I take my duty to conduct oversight very seriously. Unfortunately, Secretary Walsh did not take his obligation to respond to oversight seriously. During your short tenure, your track record appears to be about the same as his, at least until you attempted to cancel your appearance at the last minute and are here today only because my threat to issue a subpoena caused you to reconsider appearing. In most cases, you've responded to the committee's inquiries with a vague letter providing none of the requested documents, thereby technically responding to the inquiry, but not, in fact, coming close. Will you commit to providing fully responsive answers to the committee's request? Yes or no?
Thank you so much, Chairwoman Foxx. I am very happy to be here today to testify. I understand that our teams worked together to
Ms. Sue,
find the date.
Yeah, I just need a yes or no answer, and I appreciate your being here. And you don't have to say thank you very much for the question. That just takes up time.
I appreciate that. Chairwoman Foxx, I want to say that I take the oversight role of this committee and of Congress very seriously.
Then you will be saying yes to my question. Yes, you will answer our request completely. Is that right?
Chairwoman Foxx, my team understands that it is our job and it is my request that we respond to oversight requests and work with your team to make sure that you get what you need.
Do you understand that failure to provide complete responses can result in the committee taking compulsory measures?
Yes.
Good. You know that word. Ms. Sue, in March, my staff requested performance information on DOL's workforce development grant programs. The department's had over 2 months, yet the information that has been provided to date is incomplete and lacks employment and earnings outcomes for a significant number of grantees. How can your department effectively manage discretionary grant programs if you're not tracking grantee performances?
Thank you, Chairwoman Foxx. It is very important, as you say, to track outcomes, to make sure that we are good stewards of federal monies.
Okay, then my request should be very simple. Just hit click and send what you've got. Can you commit to providing performance information on all of ETA's discretionary grants by the end of the week?
Chairwoman Foxx, it is my understanding that we have been responsive to requests from you and from this committee. If that is not the case,
well,
yes,
let
I
me
commit.
just tell you directly, your department has not been responsive. So please review our request and respond appropriately. Going forward, will you commit to posting the employment and earnings outcomes for grant programs on the department's website?
Chairwoman Foxx, I'm not clear specifically on the details of what you request, but we have worked to be transparent about our grants and also about outcomes, and I agree with you that it's very important to make sure that what we're funding works.
If the letters are not clear, and I read those letters very, very carefully, as do our staff members, to make sure they're clear. But if you would simply send a response back and tell us what's not clear, we'll certainly clarify it. But we do think the letters are very clear and that the information we need is very specific. So let me switch to the wage and hour division briefly. Despite the wage and hours division nearly 10% increase in funding over the last 4 years, it collected the least amount of back wages for workers since FY 2010, down by nearly 33% from 4 years ago. The number of workers receiving back wages is the lowest on record for WHD. As I said, down by more than 51% from 4 years ago. These results are not due to a resource issue, and COVID is no longer a legitimate excuse. These failures reflect the management problem. What are you doing as a manager to fix this poor performance?
Thank you very much, Chairwoman Foxx. As the Deputy Secretary of Labor, over the last 2 years, I have I had responsibility for management of the department and worked closely with the Wage and Hour Division to make sure that we
Yes,
were
we already know
performing
that.
our mission.
We already know that. So what's the solution?
So one of the things that when we came in January of 2021, the department, their enforcement resources had been cut dramatically in the prior administration, about 14%. And we have, in the time that we have been here, worked to rebuild the division, to train staff, and to make sure that we are investigating, not all workplaces, right? It makes sense to be targeted and to be smart and to identify which employers are actually engaged in violations and which are not, right? The vast majority of employers are
Ms.
complying
Sue,
with the law.
you have effectively taken up a lot of my time without answering questions. So I will now yield back my time.